Hey everyone, it's the Angry Honey Badger, and it's time to take a look at another patch notes from Riot. It is the end of Season 2 patch notes, so we're going to go over everything that they are going to be implementing in the game, because Season 2 is now over, and it's time for us to get ready for the beginning of Season 3. So, starting off with these patch notes, what we have going on is the season is over, meaning multiple things for multiple people. The eligible summoners will receive loading screen borders, profile banners, forum badges, all that fun stuff. You get the Janna skin. If you finished, I believe, was it Diamond or Platinum or higher or something? Maybe it was Gold. I do not remember, to be honest, because I wasn't paying attention. Summoner icons will be distributed over the next week or so. LO ratings will be compressed towards 1200 again, which is where you start out at, and then placement matches must be completed before LOs are visible again, which is pretty normal if you've played ranked before or played last season. Rank stats have been cleared and archived under Season 2 as a thumbnail drop-down option under the rank stats. So all of that's getting reset, and we're going to go ahead and jump on in to the champion changes. First off, we have Brand. His Pyroclasm can no longer bounce more than 5 times, which is good. It should only bounce 5 times. Next, we have Elise. Her Neurotoxin ability power ratio is being increased to 3% per 100 ability power from 2%. Venomous Bite ability power ratio is also being increased the same amount. And then as for her Cocoon, the missile speed has been increased by 150, and it now reveals a target if it hits it while it's in a bush or, say, hidden. That's gonna also kind of be nice to know if you did land that. Also, that missile speed is nice because it was a little slow before, to be honest. And then also now, in spider form, bonus magic damage per attack ability power ratio has been increased by 0.1. So, some buffs to Elise. I will say this will definitely help her out in the jungle, because it will, and then will also help her out on ganking. I think she could use this a little bit, but I actually have found out recently she's a very strong top laner, because she's got a little bit of poke that a lot of the bruisers up top usually don't have to deal with. Especially dealing with some of her percentage damage based off their health. So, I would recommend trying her out up there and still kind of using my same Elise build. It works very nicely. So, this is probably going to make her a pretty good top laner. So, give that a try, but this should be pretty good for Elise. Hopefully, it won't make her too powerful, though. Next, we're taking a look at Kassadin. His Netherblade, the ability power ratio has been increased on it from 0.15 to 0.3, and then the bonus damage no longer hits inhibitors or the Nexus. So that's kind of going away, but nonetheless, the ability power ratio is being increased on that. Next, we have Katarina. This is no surprise, I think, to a few of us. Bouncing Blade's initial damage is being reduced at later ranks, as we can see. It's only going down by about 15 and 20 later on, so not too much, but it is going to be, you know, less damage, but she does do a lot. And then also her Sinister Steel damage is being reduced as well at later ranks, kind of by about the same amount. So, just going to do a little bit less damage just base stats-wise. Her ability power ratios aren't being touched, so we're not going to see huge changes with this, but her numbers are just going to come down just a tiny bit, which, like I said, she kind of needed it. She's pretty strong, so that's going to be happening to Katarina. Next, we have LeBlanc. Her Distortion mana cost is being reduced at later ranks, just a little bit, so not too much of a change to her. Next, we have Lux. Final Spark visual effects no longer appear at the wrong angle if aimed beyond the edge of the map. So that's going to be a little of a visual change to see there. Next, Renekton. His Slice and Dice no longer reduces Dragon's armor. It didn't really need to. I guess it probably helped him take it, but they're going to fix that. Soraka, her Infuse tooltip now states the correct ability power ratio at 0.6. Just kind of a little fix there. Next, we have Twisted Fate. Pick a card tooltip now describes the correct behavior in regards to Blue's card's mana restoration. So that's going to be nice for people who weren't really sure about that. It'll now state that correctly. Next, we have Twitch. Deadly Venom now has a new particle for maximum stacks. Also, the Ambush tooltip now describes the correct behavior in regards to delay before entering invisibility. So, just a couple little changes there in the tooltip and the particle. Nothing too big as well. Next, we have Viger. His Equilibrium's mana regeneration has been increased to 1% from 0.75% per 1% mana missing. So it's going to help him out early on in the game and later on in the game, but a lot more early on, so you have a little bit more mana, so you're able to last hit with your Q and feed up your AP that way. Next, we have a little change to Volibear. Majestic Roar now fears minions for 3 seconds instead of 2. This is going to be helpful while jungling with him. You're going to get more free hits off on them before they resume dealing damage to you. So just kind of know that that's there now, so your fear is going to work a little bit better in the jungle. Next, we have Jinzhao. Crescent Sweep now probably procs Spell Vamp and other effects, such as like Riley's Crystal Scepter. So a couple little changes there. It's going to definitely help him out. Next, we have Yorick. The Omen of War now works properly with Lifesteal, which is a good fix for him. Ziggs is having his Short Fuse, now deals 150% damage to structures, such as towers, so that's going to help him out while taking towers. And next we have Zillion. Time Bomb now breaks the recall immediately when it's cast on an enemy champion, instead of being cast on them and then they would teleport back to base and maybe heal up before that bomb was killing them. So this is a good change for Zillion. I've had this problem with people a few times where I was able to put a bomb on them, but they teleported back to base before it blew up, basically making the bomb worthless. So this is going to be a good change for Zillion. So this is kind of nice that it now breaks the recall while they're trying to go back. We have some changes to some items for this patch. All types of fun stuff going on. We have the Blackfire Torch. The new recipe is Cage's Lucky Pick and a Haunting Gaze. The total gold cost is $29.50 with 70 ability power ratio is what it's giving you with 250 health. It's giving you cooldown reduction, magic penetration, and your spells burn for 5% of the target's maximum health over 3 seconds. This is going to be a great item for AP casters who are just looking for a little bit more damage, because after they blow off all of their abilities and they kind of sit dormant there for a second, this is going to be nice to help take down some extra damage on enemies. So this is now available on Twisted Treeline and the Crystal Scar, not on Summoner's Rift, but nonetheless, this is going to be a good item for those maps. Next, we're taking a look at the Hextech Sweeper. Its new recipe is an Amplifying Tome plus a Kindle Gem. Its total cost is $19.20. It gives you 50 ability power, 300 health, uniquely gives you 10% cooldown, 10% move speed, and unique active is a stealth detecting mist, which grants vision for 10 seconds. Going to be another fun item to play around with. Next, we're taking a look at Wooglet's Witch Cap. If I'm saying that right, I don't know if I am, to be honest. Its recipe is a needlessly large rod plus chainmail armor. It is 3,500 gold to buy. It gives you 100 ability power and 50 armor. Unique passive is it increases your ability power by 25%, and a unique active which places your champion in stasis for 2.5 seconds, which makes you invulnerable and untargetable, but unable to take any action. It's got a 90-second cooldown. On that, it is now available on the Twisted Treeline and the Crystal Scar as well. And that has been added because of some few things happening. The removal of Zonia's Hourglass from the Twisted Treeline and Crystal Scar, and the removal of Rabadon's Death Cap from the Crystal Scar. So, just a couple changes there. We have some changes for, in general, just kind of changes. Ignite is now only castable on enemy champions, which is a good change because I know some people would accidentally cast it on minions or monsters. I have accidentally done this before, and it's very frustrating when that happens, and that would have killed the enemy champion. Also, now champions' passives will now have their own cooldowns, which is kind of nice to show in case that is how that champion works. So just kind of nice that that's going to be there. We have some changes to co-op versus AI, but I typically don't go over those because I'm not too worried about those, but they're right here if you want to pause the video and take a look at those. We have some changes to the Twisted Treeline now. We are going to see a reduced starting damage for Valma, increased his starting health, and reduced his health scaling. Slightly tweaked walkable space in several areas to allow flashing over walls. Brush beside altars has been removed. The altars now unlock at 3 minutes instead of 2 minutes after the game has started. The altars now grant 3 gold per bonus kill of minions instead of 4. Minion base gold rewards has been increased by 1 to compensate though, so if you kill the minions, you know, it's just kind of switching, but in case you're running the altars and they don't have one, they won't miss out on quite as much gold this way. So that's kind of their viewing of this, so one team doesn't get horribly ahead, which was happening in a few cases. Jungle monster gold and health values have been rebalanced, and the removal of Thornmail from the purchasable items list. So that was a very, very good item for a lot of teams. We're going to see how that affects things, though. So this will be really interesting for the beginning of the season. Also, we have some changes on the Crystal Scar. Reduced passive mana regeneration, and increased the mana gained from health relics, and they've changed the windmill rotation speed, so gears no longer clip. That's going to pretty much cover everything in these patch notes. Let me know if you guys like any of these changes or not by leaving me a comment. I will take a look at those. But I guess other than that, I'll see all of you in the next video.